Reading and Northern, YJNR, the yard job based out of North Reading, is an integral part of the railroad supply chain, helping cars flow north into the system to industrial parks and key distribution centers in Hazleton and Scranton, as well as local customers around Schuylkill County. YJNR can often be seen working the yard near Tuckerton or bringing in cars from Norfolk Southern's Reading yard. Power is usually end-cab switchers, though on this particular day they're using a couple GP38-2s. R&N reaches Spring Street Yard by entering Norfolk Southern rails at Belt, the junction of the former Reading Railroad's belt line around the city and the Pottsville branch through town. Above Reading, the main line was named the Pottsville branch and largely exists today, with mileposts still reflecting the distance from Philadelphia. Inbounds are presently dropped by NS Train 10K, which replaced the 10N in this scene, making a drop of BNSF boxcars from California for the Kane Distribution Center near Scranton. That is in fact an SD45-2 on the point, one of 6 still on the roster that serve mostly on Conrail shared assets in North Jersey. Seeing one of these outside of New Jersey is a treat, and even rarer to find leading, which was the case on this hot August evening in 2016. The morning YJNR 1 crew will start switching out the cars for the fast freights that run later in the day, also setting aside any cars for Tamaqua and West Cressona. The fast freights run on a schedule. NRFF departs North Reading for Pittston in the afternoon, arriving back at night. WHFF arrives in North Reading overnight, returning to West Hazleton early in the morning. The night YJNR 2 crew will handle the outbounds, running them into Spring Street and grabbing the inbounds for the morning crew if available from NS. This is the true definition of precision scheduled railroading. Fast freights that book it from one end of the railroad to the other and back on a fixed schedule, with local and switching crews carrying out the work to build trains and serve customers like clockwork every day. For some reason, the big Class 1 railroads can't figure this out. The fast freights will be a subject of future videos, but for now let's get back to YJNR, which also serves customers at the south end of the railroad. On this particular day, they shoved out at Belt and ran up Norfolk Southern to Laurel Junction to access their isolated trackage on the former Pennsylvania Railroad's Schuylkill branch, running north on the opposite side of the Schuylkill River from the main line. Here they are again, crossing Tuckerton Road on the Schuylkill branch, about to pass the Temple train station, where the Blue Mountain and Reading steam excursions ran out of in the 90s. The track on this line sees little tonnage, with few online customers between here and Leesport. In fact, the ends of the line are mostly used for car storage. The hoppers on this fall day in 2018 are full of old railroad ties heading for Zwicky Recycling in Ottolani. That's Norfolk Southern's Reading Line in the background, which turns east toward Allentown. However, on President's Day 2023, there were no inbound cars from NS, freeing the YJNR 1 crew for other miscellaneous duties on the main line. 70 cars were already in North Reading Yard with part of the train for West Cressona and the rest for Tamaqua. By the time I got word, they were continuing north after making their WC drop in Port Clinton.
At the Roger, you are okay to become southbound in the block there, proceed lower yard down equilateral, over. Okay, southbound, proceed down to equilateral.
It's a warm, sunny winter day with temps reaching in the 50s, so you bet I cast my jacket aside, though stiff winds rolled in while I was waiting, bringing cloud cover with it. A lot of activity is going on here at the Premium Fine Coal Facility in South Tamaqua. Over a half dozen triaxles entered for their fill of fine anthracite. They load hoppers here too, though none are on the siding today. After a half hour of waiting, the star attraction of the video finally gets underway. Two MP15s Bracket and SW 1500 making a beeline down the main with almost 40 loads of coal. Who knew that we would still get to enjoy such sights and sound in the year 2023? The southbound chase is on, with the next stop at Schuylkill Road in Hecla. Schuylkill is one of those names that even most locals don't know how to spell correctly, and the crossing box here didn't get it right either. Today's train is a throwback to 40 years ago, when Conrail still owned the rails in the anthracite region from the consolidation of several East Coast railroads in 1976. End cab switchers were a mainstay to haul freight and coal here for decades, though by the end of the 80s, Conrail wanted out of the business. Andy Muller had a different vision in the 90s, restoring this region and building online customers to what we have today, with the fleet of locomotives in livery inspired by the original Reading Company schemes. We make it to Molino just in time, since the approach-lit automatic signal at 81 already displays a clear. The classic melody of stick rail at this location adds to the historic nature of today's train, passing under Route 61 where Molino Interlocking once stood, continuing as double track for 2 miles into Port Clinton, which is now the R&N headquarters. We continue down 61 to Muller at the Industrial Drive crossing in Hamburg. Named after the CEO himself, Muller Interlocking is entering its 3rd year of service, double-tracked to here from Port Clinton in spring of 2020. It's proven quite useful for the railroads for meets and as a relief valve for outbound coal trains. The entirety of the main line from Pottsville to Reading was once all double-track. We get ahead of the train once more at Leesport. This is one of the few locations the tracks level out on their way down into the valley from the Blue Mountains, so we can expect good noise here. Only the first 2 are online, providing 3,000 horsepower facing glass out. Almost all anthracite coal in the United States is mined in this region of Pennsylvania, accounting for about 1% of all coal mined across the country. The Reading and Northern is almost exclusively the originating railroad of anthracite, though neighboring North Shore still has a few carbon customers in Shamokin. Anthracite is used mostly by the metals industry, and the open-top hoppers are often bound for export terminals for use abroad, though there are domestic customers all across the country that receive shipments in covered hoppers. This is because small customers may not have a dryer available on site, so protection from the elements is key. Back at North Reading, YJNR eases up to the south end of Track 2 and ties it down at 3 p.m. sharp. The train already weighed on the scales at the north end of the yard, likely to be transferred over to NS by the evening crew. I'm not certain where this cut came from or if it will be combined with other outbound hoppers as a unit train. 100-plus car coal trains do originate here on occasion for Fairless and Leetsdale and sometimes Baltimore. We'll take a look at other Reading and Northern coal operations in future videos, so please subscribe and hit the bell icon to be the first in line when new videos arrive. I hope you enjoyed this look at the North Reading Yard operations, and here's some additional footage of them switching and kicking cars to end out the video. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you in the comments below.
train, give me 6.